I want to believe that my viewers are getting enough information from this platform. And for those of you that are just joining us, we've discussed a whole lot as far as these topics are concerned. But tonight, I'm just going to talk generally on food security so that we can appreciate better this business concept, the agro real estate business concept. Let's talk about food security. Over time, it's no longer news that there is a decline in food availability. There's hunger, not just peculiar to one particular country, but across the globe. And so at this point, discussing and talking about food security and seeing how we can actually attain food security is key. We are talking about this because this is one of the ideology and one of the area of dimension that the SilvaWell Limited represent. One of their goal to contribute to food security in the land. Hence the need for us to discuss this, for you to be able to appreciate better why we do what we do. Now, food security is simply having access to sufficient, to affordable, to healthy and stable food. So when there is food sufficiency, when there is affordability of food, healthy food, and then that availability is sustainable, then we can say there is food security. A situation whereby food is available but not affordable, or available and not healthy, or available per time and not sustainable, in such cases we cannot say there is food security. So for us to say food security is a thing, all of these parameters must be in place: sufficiency, affordability, healthy, and then stable food. Now, according to the 2025 Global Report on Food Crisis, they have it in their report that there is a surge, an increase in recent time in acute hunger. This is a report that can be felt, that can be seen in our society across the globe, where we have serious, what we call the acute hunger. In some cases and in some countries, even migrated from acute into chronic, severe hunger cases as a result of food insecurity. And we're going to be discussing the reason for this and then the way forward with SilvaWell. Around 295 million people, from reports, million people are now faced with high level of acute food insecurity. That is an alarming number of our population. More than 295 million people faced with the problem of food insecurity. And that there is no better time that we can begin to devise ways and adopting business strategies and investment that will help to contribute to food security. The reason for this is not far-fetched. The reason for the alarming rate of hunger, the alarming rate of food insecurity, the alarming rate of need for food is one, poverty, the issue of natural disaster, the issue of conflict. We have situations whereby in some part of the world we have conflicts here and there between countries, and wherever these conflicts abound, there's going to be a decline in food production. And this can also contribute to food insecurity. We also have issues of insecurity in places, insecurity in countries. All of this can impact on availability of food. The issue of climate is another big problem that also contributes to food insecurity. Climate, the change in climatic or weather elements like rainfall, like increase in temperature, all of these changes in all of these weather elements as it relate to climate are also reasons for this increase in food insecurity. So economy, talking about inflation, most nations, Nigeria is not an exception, battling with the issue of inflation, economic hardship. All of this contribute to the ability of the people to get sufficient, affordable, healthy, and stable food. And these are largely contributing to food insecurity in the land, up to lack of education on sustainable farming. Obviously, for those who have been following, there have been a lot of educating talk, discussions as it have to do with sustainable agricultural practices, saying, oh, if we have to get these problems solved, we cannot rely on the old method of doing things. And then we devoted a lot of time discussing about sustainable practices, sustainable agricultural practices that can be beyond the moment, looking at the future and having a realistic solution to the problem of food insecurity. Now, all of these are reasons why there is a rapid increase in hunger, there's a rapid increase in less availability of food. But what are the challenges that are associated with attaining food security? Because most nations, or if I would say all nations, every nation out there want to attain food security, want to be able to provide enough food that can take care of citizens, and beyond taking care of the citizens, to also generate revenue to individuals and to the country at large. But there are challenges that are associated with attaining this food security. Now, all of these challenges you need to know so as to make informed decisions, so as to be able to know how to navigate and manage all of these challenges to be able to contribute your little quarter to getting the economy of the nation back to that atmosphere whereby there is a large level of food security. So one which we can never mention enough is climate change. So climate change is one of those challenges that's associated with attaining food security. Another challenge is population growth. Yes, geometrical progressions increase in our population. Nations of the world are increasing day by day, and all of this population increase will require a corresponding production of food to cater for them. The issue of population growth is, permit me to say, is one of the challenges associated with attaining food security. And then we also have food wastage. Food wastage is another challenge that is associated with attaining food security. Even the little that is being produced by most of our farmers, because of poor infrastructures, because of lack of processing facilities, because of lack of storage facilities, and all of these things put in place, there is even wastage of the little that is being produced. If this is not checkmated, if the little produced is not preserved, processed and preserved, then we cannot say we are contributing to, or we want to attain food security. So food wastage is a challenge. Now, let's quickly discuss how to achieve food security. One of the ways to achieve food security, considering the fact that things are changing, our environment are changing, a lot of things are coming up in our global space that we are not there before now. How can we be able to achieve food security in the face of these numerous evolutions and changes in our environment? Number one is, again, sustainable agriculture. Sustainable agriculture. Again, I will keep saying that doing things the same old way is not going to guarantee us achieving food security. Sustainable practice in the sense that we look deeper, or we focus more on organic means of replenishing our soil loss fertility over time, to organic means of controlling some of these pests and diseases that have built resistance over time because of the conventional methods we have adopted over the years. And so we cannot begin to fight all of this resistance that have been built up over the years with the same old method. And that is why we advocate the sustainable agriculture, where more emphasis is laid on organic means of recovering the lost nutrient of the soil and control of some of the pests that affect our crops on the field, which eventually lead to reduction in yield and at the long run affect surplus of farm produce. Another way to achieve food security is youth involvement, and that is one thing I salute with the SilvaWell Limited. We cannot achieve food security if there is no deliberate decisions, whether on government level or on private level, involving the youth in agriculture. So youth involvement is key in contributing to food security. Another thing that can also help us to achieve food security is what I refer to as urban agriculture. Now, for those who are conversant with the terrains, looking at our local domain, Nigeria, as a case study, you will remember over time, a few years back, successive governments have come and gone, and then they've introduced numerous policies to checkmate all of this problem we are discussing about. And there were governments that introduced what we refer to as green revolutions, and other government came in, introduced Operation Feed the Nation, advocating for this system, which we refer to as the urban agriculture. And so one of the ways to achieve food security is to inculcate the concept of urban agriculture in the minds of our teeming population, to knowing full well that over dependence on the rural setting to provide all the food that will be required by the teeming population is not sustainable. And come to think of it, most of our rural settings have been deserted by those who are in the class and in the age range to bring about the production of this food that can contribute to food security. And so because of that, the concept of urban agriculture is key to ensuring that as a nation we achieve food security. That means that agriculture can even be practiced in the urban center. And to me, the agro real estate business is a business that have this in its concept, the urban agriculture, not 100% into agricultural practice that has to do with the interior and the local practice or rural setting, but also because we are considering the real estate aspect of the business. So the urban agriculture, like the agro real estate business, is one of the several ways that we can achieve food security. And also climate change mitigation is also another avenue to contribute to food security. So carrying out practices that help to checkmate the excesses of climate change can also help to improve productivity. We've talked about the cover cropping, intercropping, and all of those things to checkmate increase in temperature. We've talked about irrigation practices, mulching, and all of those things to checkmate the problem of irregular pattern of rainfall that we have these days. So climate change mitigation are obviously ways that we can achieve food security. So the farmer must now know how to navigate through these challenges. All of these challenges that have been mentioned, quickly let me dwell on three ways that the farmer can navigate through these challenges. Number one is diversify investment, or investing in diversified business like the agro real estate. And so where food production is put as one goal or as one aim in our operation. So diversify investment is one, and then information-based decisions is another way to navigate through all of these challenges. There are things that are done the right way. There are best practices that can be adopted to getting some things achieved or getting some results. Beyond information-based decisions, which I believe our viewers are getting already from this platform, is sustainable farming practices. So sustainable farming practices also help us to navigate all of these challenges. So the challenge of climate, the challenge of population growth, the challenge of food wastage can be navigated through diversifying investment, through information-based decisions, and through sustainable farming practices. In conclusion, I want to say again and again that the agro real estate contributes to food security. The SilvaWell Limited, like we said from the onset, is concerned about profitability of high investors, is concerned with the well-being of the environment, and is concerned also with the social well-being. And one of the cardinal aims of SilvaWell Limited is to contribute to food security. And so for every of our investors out there, you are actually indirectly, beyond the profit that is derivable from this laudable venture, you are indirectly contributing to food security. Because if you look at our global space and you look at our national space, for example, we'll discover that most of these small-scale farmers actually contribute more to food security than even the few large-scale farming that we have out there. And so the SilvaWell, by its operation, contribute to food security. I want to thank everyone for listening and paying attention to all we have been discussing and making informed decisions. Please do subscribe and visit all the social media handles that have been made available for you to get all the information and see why you need to hurriedly invest with SilvaWell Agro Limited so that you can begin to get a regular passive income flow while you are also contributing to food security in the land. Until we meet again, I want to say to you, stay blessed and thank you for listening.